31. How to Pray. Part 3. Declaring Our Dependence on God. March the 6th, 1956. Good morning, friends. A few years ago, a man in very serious trouble was discussing his problem with me. I had known him for some time and we were fairly good friends, and so his situation was well known to me, and he knew it. An able, likeable, and robust man, he had by his own admission messed up his own life and that of everyone who came too close to him. Everything in life was a big joke to him, and a rather cynical one at that. Now, he was afraid that he would soon drink himself to death, that his own nature and his appetites were fast getting out of hand, and he was deeply afraid of himself. In the course of our conversation, I happened to mention the word prayer, and he immediately responded, "Rush, how can a man lower himself to pray?" And that remark was the key to his whole problem. He wanted to be independent of all responsibility to God and man. The heart of his personal creed was that at all costs he must be a free man. He had refused with wit and humour every attempt any man or woman made to tie him down. He had declared his independence of his parents and family, and of every tie and claim that ever asserted itself. He had faithfully tried to become a free man, only to be a slave to himself and his own nature. He had freed himself of all normal ties, only to be in bondage now to every vague fear, haunted by drunken nightmares and deathly afraid that life might catch him in a sober moment and show him what his freedom amounted to. When men desire their independence of God, they end up not as free and independent men, but as slaves and runaways, in flight from God, man, and themselves. But the man was right in his description of prayer. It is a lowering of oneself before the majesty and omnipotence of God. It is a declaration not of independence, but of dependence to an absolute degree. It is an affirmation that God is our Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, that in Him we live and move and have our being. Prayer, indeed, is a cry of dependence and a call for help. However, instead of producing a weak and dependent character, it develops instead strength of will and independence of spirit, a godly character and Christian courage. The more we pray, the more we depend on God and the less on this world. The more we pray, the less we fear men, the less we are swayed by what people say or think. The more we pray, the less timid and anxious we become, and the more courageous and bold. It is necessary for us to pray in order that we might become strong. It is necessary for us to declare by the act of prayer that we are weak and dependent in order that we might receive the power and grace of God. Prayer, thus, is the way to strength and courage, the antidote to fear. The effect of prayer has been well described by Richard C. Trench in his familiar poem, Prayer. Lord, what a change within us 1 short hour spent in thy presence will avail to make! What heavy burdens from our bosoms take! What parched grounds refresh as with a shower! We kneel, and all around us seems to lower. We rise, and all the distant and the near stands forth in sunny outline brave and clear. We kneel, how weak! We rise, how full of power! Why, therefore, should we do ourselves this wrong, or others, that we are not always strong, that we are sometimes overborne with care, that we should ever weak or heartless be, anxious or trouble when with us is prayer, and joy and strength and courage are with thee?